and welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Today I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of trick art. I've been watching a lot of videos over the last few days and I'm very inspired to try this out. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you what you need for this trick art. You just need a regular piece of paper. This is just paper I got from the printer. I have another piece here because I'm going to actually draw out my heart, cut it out and use it as a stencil. I've got a ruler, I've got some scissors, and I have these little bathroom scissors to cut, you know, the little details out. If you have an Exacto knife, that would work probably better. Just be careful with your Exacto knife. I'm using a 4B graphite pencil, and I've just got a regular fine tip marker here. I have an eraser, and I have this dollar store brush that I use to kind of brush off my page if I get eraser bits on it or any kind of dust. So let me show you how we do it. This is kind of fun. All right, so I've got my paper here that I've folded in half that I'm going to use to draw out my heart, because I'm really not good at drawing hearts. So hopefully this will turn out okay. So I'm just going to cut that. Okay, let's see how that turned out. I think that's good. Okay, so I'm putting that, let's see, this would be the middle of the page. I'm going down just maybe by ½ inch there, okay? And I'm going to draw out my heart onto my page. And now what I'm going to do is go up a little higher. You see how high I've gone up here? Wait, let me just fix this. I've gone up just a little bit higher. I'd say, I like to use inches, so about between ½ inch to ¾ inch. And I'm drawing another heart. Okay, so we've got two hearts like this. One's a little funny looking. Why don't I fix this? There we go. All right, I've got my two hearts. So the first thing I'm going to do is start to do a little bit of shading. And I've got my 4B. I'm going to shade all of this section here on top, just lightly with my 4B pencil. Oh, I forgot to mention, you're also going to need something to blend, and I'm using cotton swabs, okay? Sorry about that. I just really wanted to get this going. I was very excited to start. So I'm pressing really lightly, and I'm just shading in. I'm using circular motions to shade in that top part of the heart. And I suggest that once in a while you turn your pencil, turn it so that you don't wear it down all on one side. I got this idea from watching, like I mentioned, I've been watching a lot of these trick art and 3D art videos on YouTube. This is the reason, one of the reasons why I have all these lessons for free on YouTube, because this is pretty much how I learned. I'm a self-taught artist, but I learned by watching others. And sometimes I wouldn't say copy their style, because, I mean, am I really copying someone's style right now? Maybe, according to some people. But I'm just experimenting with 3D art here and trick art. But I have pretty much found my own style over the years. But I really have to thank the people who put up free videos on YouTube, because that taught me a lot. That's why I do it. Okay, now I'm going to do this section here. Same thing, just shading it in very lightly. It may sound cliche, but I mean, I don't know what I would do without YouTube now. I learned so much about everything. People are very generous with the information they share. I mean, there's a lot of junk out there, but I think YouTube is a great thing. All right. Now what I'm going to do is put a little extra shading. I want a few areas to be darker, and one of the areas is here in between. I'm putting a line, and I'm going to add a little bit of darker shading here. Not too far up, just about there. Same thing on the other side. Okay, and over here, a little bit of dark shading, kind of around the edges. Down here too. Same thing on this side. And down here. And I also want to do the same thing here. I want to draw a line and put some shading on either side of that line. All right, so now I'm going to grab one of my cotton swabs and I'm going to start blending, and I'm starting with the lightest areas first, because if I start here I might bring some of that dark over, and I don't really want to do that right now. So I'm just blending with the cotton swab. Cotton swabs work well with graphite and with charcoal, actually. They work really well with charcoal. You could use a blending stump here. But cotton swabs are perfect for this. And if you get some into the heart, don't worry about it. We can go and erase it after. You got to turn your cotton swab once in a while too, because when it starts to get full of the pigment, it doesn't blend very well. It actually feels like you're rubbing the this piece here, the hard piece of paper, onto your page. And this is just computer paper. It's not really thick paper, and it could rip, so gotta be careful. Okay. Yeah, I'm already seeing that it's not blending well, so I'll just switch to the other side. Okay, I can start blending in the dark areas now. And I'm going to try to blend it really well, because I don't want it to look like a solid line, you know, where the dark area ends. Like I said, don't worry, we can erase. It's hard to blend a very tiny little piece like that with a cotton swab, so we'll pull out the eraser and fix all that. going to switch cotton swabs now, get a fresh one. Okay, now I'm just grabbing my graphite pencil and I'm just going to make those lines appear again. Make sure they're really there. And I'll just blend them a little bit. All right. So now what we're going to do is, before we start erasing, we're going to make a shadow underneath the heart. So just a little shadow like this that kind of extends out. I want to make the bottom of the heart, the shadow here at the bottom of the heart, I want to make that a little bit darker. Okay, and now we're just going to blend that in. I'm really trying to soften it up here. Okay, now let's take our eraser. I'm actually going to take, where's my other eraser? I have a mechanical eraser here that I like to use because it's got a thinner tip on it. But if you just have a regular eraser, that'll work well too. I'm just going to erase and clean up that line. And around this area where, you know, it got smudged a little bit. Okay, anywhere else? Just here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is apply a few highlights. I'm going to erase a little bit here. And a little bit here. And I think a little bit here. And a little bit here. Let's brush that off and see how that looks. I'm going to take my cotton swab and just gently go over it. Gently, gently. Just so that it blends a little better. Okay. Now, remember that original part we did here? It's this one here. I'm going to take my black fine tip marker and I'm going to outline that. Remember, it was this one here. Oh, be careful, Rain. There. Now, I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase around where any of that graphite came out, okay? Depending on what type of marker you're using. You might have to wait until the marker dries a little bit, okay? I know mine is okay. Mine is a Staedtler pigment liner 0.8. Those dry very quickly, as do Sharpies. So I'm just erasing that line around it on this side as well. Just cleaning it up a little. Okay. Now there is a spot that I noticed right over here. I'm missing a little shading. So I'm just putting in some shading. And you can take a look around your heart and see if there's any spots that you want to fix up at this point, or if you want to put a little more highlighting. That's all up to you. Or if you have to do a little bit of erasing. Okay, I think I'm good here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create our lines. Now, the most important line that I want to make sure I have is about here. Because what I'm going to do, if I can get this straight here. I'm not very good with straight lines. Okay, I think that's straight. I'm going to be cutting out this part here on the inside and this part here on the inside, and then along this line and all the way around the heart, we're going to be cutting all of that off. So what I want to do is make sure that there's a line going through this part of the top of the heart, but I don't want to get any lines in where I shaded. Okay, it's okay to get lines on the inside of the heart, but not where you shaded, okay? So let's start doing that. Okay, so that's your main line. And I'm going to put a line every 3/4 of an inch, just say. So from this line, I'll go out at the side actually. And I'm just going to make little markings every 3/4 of an inch. All right, and I'm just going to draw lines all the way across my page and try to make sure that they're straight. This particular work of art, this particular lesson, I guess you could say, I can't multitask. Okay, wait, let me just do this and then I'll talk. Remember, don't get any lines inside the shading. I saw this one on a YouTube channel by this amazing artists. I have to start at the bottom, I'm sorry. I am very distracted here. I have to just pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. Otherwise, all my lines are going to be crooked. I think that's straight. Oh, that's all right. Now I can use this line as a reference, you see? Okay, now I can speak. Yes, there's an amazing artist out there. His name is Vamos, and his channel is Vamos Art. I'm going to put his link in the description below because he's definitely worth checking out. He does a lot of this stuff, the trick art stuff, and that's why I first started learning how to do it, by following his tutorials. He's got a lot of great stuff. Actually, I think, like I said, I've been watching a lot of tutorials, but I think this heart one is his. All right, we're getting in there. I've got snoring dogs in the background. Okay. I hope I got these relatively straight. Hey, not bad. Okay. So now what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to cut above this line all the way around the heart and in here and in here. Okay, for that I am going to have to move my paper around, so I hope that's not too annoying to watch. I will cut. Be careful here, don't cut the heart, cut around it. And be careful here, don't cut too far down, because we're just cutting along this line here, right? Okay, that's looking 3D already. At this point, why don't we, let's see, why don't we just cut the bottom? We're going to cut just the last little line off here. And we're going to cut kind of trapezoid style here. Not too close to the heart though. You see? A little trapezoid style. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Okay. Now let's go in and cut out those two little pieces, and for that an Exacto knife would work really well, but I only have these little bathroom scissors that are sharp as, I don't know why they're so sharp. But, so just bear with me while I try to figure out how to do this. Just cutting out along that line. I'm just going to cut a big piece out. It might make it easier. I think it'll make it easier. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a bit of a challenge here, but I'll get there. Cut here. It's not quite straight there. That's why, you see, an Exacto knife would have worked much better. But I can't find mine. I don't know what I did with it. So I'll have to make do here without ripping anything. Okay. There's a little spot here that I have to cut. And again, I didn't get that line properly. This is not easy. That little piece doesn't want to come out. There we go. All right, I got that one done. Let's move all this stuff out of the way. Now let's see if I can get this one done. I hope you're having an easier time with this than I am. Careful, don't poke your fingers. I just did. That's a good warning. Watch your fingers. This side seems to have been a little easier. Not sure why. There. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in, oops, and I'm going to take my marker, if I can find it, and I'm going to just carefully go over this line here, just in case there were little pieces of paper that stuck around, you know what I mean? Like here, there's a little piece. All right. Now, I'm sorry guys, it's bugging me. There's a little piece there that's in the corner. Gotta get rid of that. Okay. Depending on how you hold your camera, you can get different angles and it looks different. Like if you move your camera all the way down here, it looks kind of like it's floating on top of a carton, doesn't it? And if you just put it flat, it looks like it's floating. I think that's really neat. I hope that you enjoyed this, my friends. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on Rain Francis Art. Bye.